How worried should you be about Hampton landing in an LA uniform, playing next to Najee Harris, who the Chargers just signed? Or are you excited? Should you be worried at all? We're going to break down everything that's going through your mind right now, because I know your mind's racing. You're like, Hampton, I love him, right? Wait a minute. Dynasty value's okay, right? 1-year deal for Najee. But what about 2025? I've got you. Let's break it all down. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now. This is not an easy thing to break down. You can pretend, oh, I love Hampton so much. There's nothing wrong here. No reason to be concerned. But a truthful, honest person is going to say there are some complications here. I'm not suggesting he's a bust. I'm not suggesting he can't even overcome the obstacle that is Najee Harris in LAC this year. I'm not saying he can't even overcome it within the first month or 2 months or 4 games or 2 games, or maybe Najee gets hurt in the freaking preseason. Who knows? There's certainly ample opportunity, and there's a certain amount of likelihood that Hampton can rise above the obstacle that is Najee Harris, the obstacle that is the coaching staff's decision-making about who to play. It's not just about Najee, it's about what does the coaching staff do? What does Harbaugh do? Does he give Hampton the third down work immediately? Does he give Najee all the goal line work? Najee could play good or bad, and the team could still run Najee out there. So it's not just about Najee. It's about Najee. That's a compartmentalized concern. It's about the offense. That's another concern. About the rushing efficiency from last year. How do they run this year? How do they do in the red zone or around the goal line or in goal line situations? And how does the coaching staff, how does Harbaugh decide to move forward each and every week? Those are 3 really different obstacles or scenarios, all of which have to play out perfectly for this man to rise above and help you right away to the level of commitment and cost of entry that you're putting forth. I would say this, no one has an answer right now. I think if anybody tells you everything's going to be absolutely perfect walking into week 1, that is a person that probably owns Hampton already in 2 or 3 leagues, okay? The honest truth is you're going to have a little reluctancy if you're being honest about the situation with Hampton in week 1, in week 2, the early part of the season, potentially a little bit of lingering concern all year long until something flips on its side. But at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself this. It's always about cost of entry. So if we're getting Hampton in, let's say, round 3, you got more concern baked in than you realize if you're trying to be an overly optimistic Oscar. But if you're honest with yourself and you say, well, I start to feel a little bit better about this man in round 4 with some concern, and I'm, of course, going to grab him in round 5 if for any reason this man falls into round 5, he's a home run. The initial question I have for fantasy football owners, and you can leave this in the comments, I'd be very eager to know what your thought is. Where are you now placing him? If his ADP was round 4 prior to the LAC landing spot, does it move it to 5? Do you think now he's a round 3 player? Is he round 3, 4, or 5? Put it in the comments. He can't be 6 or 7. He's not going to fall there. He can't be 2. He's not going to climb there. But if he's going to be in 4 before the NFL draft, land in LAC, which is controversial because a lot of pro Hampton people are going to make it work, make it rhyme, make it reason, then he could climb around. He could also fall around. So I think we're talking about 3, 4, 5 as the potential areas that we're all going to speculate where this guy goes. So answer the question in the comments. Where do you think he'll go, and where do you think you would take him? Those are 2 very different questions, because cost of entry and where your line in the sand, where a player goes from an avoid to a go get, are 2 completely different things and concepts. And if you don't take advantage of knowing the difference, applying the difference, trying to get Hampton at a great territory where you're not reaching, maximizing your opportunity, you're leaving meat on the bone. And that's not the way to draft. My guess is right now, based on the temperature, and I go live more than anybody you probably know. I have comments everywhere, DMs everywhere, little chat groups, big chat groups, the Patreon. By the way, join the Patreon, link in the description. Live chatting 365, 24/7. Live chatting with my community. I'm in there too. We live chat 365. My current temperature right now that I'm getting and bringing back to you feels like it's going to be somewhere right where he's been. There's too many people that love the landing spot, and there's too many people that hate the landing spot for this not to be an even tug of war. I think depending on who you talk to, it feels like it's getting tugged that way, then it gets tugged back. There are enough doubters to keep him at bay, I think, from entering round 3. And there are enough believers that, for whatever reason, have dug their heels in on the guy that have him, inching toward round 3. And so it keeps him around 4. I can't guarantee this is how it's going to go. I can't guarantee that we all, as a fantasy football community, don't, digest, let the dust settle, and go in one direction or the other more than we thought. So we got to kind of wait and let the dust settle before we really understand what's going on. My thinking is this: I'm not drafting him in round 3. I'm not moving him from round 4 to round 3 when he goes to a cloudy situation, whether it could be okay a month in or not. So from a redraft, best ball, yearly league perspective, there's no way I'm going into round 3. I could see myself taking him in 4 in best ball, where you're going to set yourself up with other players that are going to step up, maybe even Najee. Maybe you're going to grab an older player you think is going to do well for a little while. Maybe you have a plethora of guys that you think are just going to be fine for weeks 1, 2, 3. You'll get by. And once he gets into his zone, once he gets into the lineup and takes over, he'll play like a round 3 or even a round 2 guy. He certainly could. No one's saying that this kid, this amazing 3-down back that catches the ball well, very consistent from college, brings so many good things to the table. Here's the Hampton profile: 1,600 yards, 15 touchdowns, 5.9 a carry last year. This guy's 6 foot, 220. Think JT. Back-to-back 1,500 plus yard seasons in 2023 and 2024, 15 touchdowns in each of those years, 2 receiving touchdowns, 1 receiving touchdown, 222 and 373 yardage. Very, very consistent. Very capable player. Very capable player. I just can't get past the fact that Najee was signed for a reason. I know things change, but he was brought in, and I think they're going to use him. They're paying him. Now, granted, he makes a lot more money if he hits incentives, and that could be a reason why he doesn't finish the year on fire, or they scale him back and they let Hampton take over more, because teams are weird about that. You might not believe that to be true, but teams do make decisions and are told to make decisions, coaches from the top, that, hey, let's get Hampton in there. And maybe, the suits upstairs aren't exactly spelling it out, but they're telling, we want Hampton. It happens all the time. Now, Harbaugh is not one that I think is going to be told what to do. So if he loves Najee, he'll use Najee. If Najee's good around the goal line, he'll use Najee around the goal line. Is Najee going to fumble less than Hampton? History would probably tell you a little bit. And as he gets his feet wet in the NFL and learns, he's going to be a little more reckless with the ball as he's trying to do 100,000 things that he's trying to do for the first time. Your mind gets distracted. You come into the league with a little bit of a concern in terms of fumbling, or you have Najee, who's never missed a game. There's going to be some concern and obstacles in the way of Hampton's rise. My advice is to play it safer than to not play it safe at all. I think that the 4-round expectation is acceptable. I don't think you should put all your eggs in one basket, especially in best ball, or really any scenario in redraft, where you're taking him all the time in round 4. Could I see myself, if for whatever reason the dust settles, like I said, and he goes in round 5 on the consistent, could I see getting in more eggs in one basket scenario with Hampton in 5? Yeah, I could. So that's kind of my line in the sand. 5, I love it. I'm taking a lot more shares than I ever thought I would. Given the situation, after the dust settles, I look at it, I survey the land, and he's going around 5. That's a whole different ballgame. That's a different player. And if he goes around 4 on the consistent, I'm doing a very proportionate amount of give me some Hampton shares, let me go in other directions type of thing. And then if he's round 3, I'm never taking him. Not in redraft, not in best ball. And from a dynasty perspective, just to hit dynasty, because we do it all here. We are full service here on the Fantasy Football Show. I'm going to say Hampton. I think second round is acceptable in a dynasty startup. I think that expecting him to be top 7, top 8 running back material is understandable, but I'm not there yet. I think top 10, sure. I think he feels safe 9, 10, 11-ish, but we'll break that down more too. I mean, even looking at my rankings on thefantasyfootballshow.com, where you can get your year-round fantasy football rankings, bowl predictions, all of that. Constant trade calculator updates. It's always updated 365, 24/7. But if I go to my dynasty rankings and I say to myself, where am I ranking this guy amongst running backs in dynasty? I've got Genty above him. I got Bijan, Gibbs. I've got Bucky. I've got Achane. And then I start getting into a territory where, am I drafting for the future? Do I like Trey Henderson? We don't know where Trey Henderson's gonna play. This is recorded right after round 1. We don't know. Is Henderson gonna pop up above Hampton? I think he will. If he lands in Washington, lands in Cleveland, we have to find out where he's going to go. Henderson could go to a cloudy situation. JT, Barkley, are you drafting for the now? You got 2 years left of Barkley. You're in a dynasty league. You want to play for the now. There's certain reasons why I could see Hampton not going at 7, not going at 8, not going at 9, depending on your build, depending on what you need. But I think you could start having the conversation after Achane, Bucky, Gibbs, Bijan, and Genty in no particular order. You can start having the conversation, but you can't say somebody else can't have Breece Hall or JT or Trey Henderson or Chase Brown ahead of them. So there is a wide range of outcomes on dynasty rankings depending on your angle. It's just the way it's going to go. It's the way it's going to be. And we have a whole lot more breakdowns coming. This is my Hampton breakdown. Not thrilled, not upset, kind of intrigued, kind of excited, but certainly don't feel like this is the best landing spot he could have landed in from a redraft perspective. And Dynasty, it's good in Dynasty, but it doesn't feel like the best one. So tell me where you have Hampton below, and we'll break down more. Get ready for one-hit profile reaction videos on all the big fantasy football offensive skill position players. And don't forget to get on over to my Patreon, which again I described earlier, patreon.com/thefantasyfootballshow. Link in the description. Don't forget to get on over to my thefantasyfootballshow.com, year-round rankings, bold predictions, trade calculators, all that and more. And then understand that I'm live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. Also live additionally whenever big news breaks, and live most midnights Eastern for our Graveyard After Dark show. See you all on the next rookie breakdown. I'm going to roll through these all day long.